The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor, sending shards skittering like frantic insects under the heels of oblivious guests. I stood there, frozen in the glittering haze of the inauguration party, the taste of bile rising in my throat as Elena's words echoed in my ears. "You're fired." Her voice, sharp and unyielding, cut through the murmur of laughter and clinking glasses like a knife through silk. 3 hours earlier I'd been toasting her promotion, our promotion, or so I'd thought. Now her eyes, those same emerald eyes that had whispered promises in dimly lit offices, gleamed with a cold triumph that made my stomach twist into knots. The room spun, the opulent chandeliers blurring into streaks of light, and all I could feel was the raw, searing burn of betrayal ripping through my chest like wildfire. I didn't move. Couldn't. The party swirled around me in the grand ballroom of the Sterling Tower, where crystal lights dangled like icicles from the vaulted ceiling, casting fractured rainbows on the polished oak walls. The air was thick with the scent of expensive perfumes, jasmine and sandalwood mingling with a faint metallic tang of caviar from the hors d'oeuvres trays. Guests in tailored suits and shimmering gowns chatted animatedly, their voices a cacophony of corporate jargon and forced chuckles. Elena stood before me, her red dress hugging her figure like a second skin, the fabric whispering against her legs as she shifted her weight. She'd just been sworn in as CEO that morning, her first day on the throne I'd helped build. And here she was, dismantling my world with 3 casual words. Why? The question escaped my lips in a hoarse whisper, barely audible over the jazz quartet's sultry saxophone riff. My hands trembled at my sides, fists clenching until my nails dug crescents into my palms. Humiliation burned my cheeks, hotter than the spotlights overhead. People were starting to notice, subtle glances, hushed whispers rippling outward like waves from a dropped stone. Elena's lips curved into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Come on, Marcus. You know why. The board needs fresh blood. Your ideas, they're outdated. We've outgrown you." She leaned in closer, her breath warm against my ear, carrying the faint hint of the Pinot Noir we'd shared earlier. "And honestly, after last night, I can't have complications at work." Last night. The memory hit me like a punch to the gut. Her hotel suite, the city lights twinkling beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, our bodies tangled in sheets that smelled of lavender detergent. It had been more than a fling. It was the culmination of years of stolen glances, late-night strategy sessions, and unspoken alliances. I'd covered for her mistakes, fed her the innovations that propelled her up the ladder. And now this. Heartbreak clawed at my insides, a deep, aching void that threatened to swallow me whole. I wanted to scream, to grab her by the shoulders and demand the truth, but denial held me back. This couldn't be real. Not Elena, not the woman who'd confided in me about her abusive ex, her dreams of shattering glass ceilings. She turned away, signaling a waiter for another drink, as if I were already a ghost. The dismissal stung worse than the words themselves. Resentment bubbled up, hot and viscous, coating my thoughts. How dare she? I'd sacrificed everything, my marriage crumbling under the weight of endless overtime, my health fraying from stress, for this company, for her. And she repaid me with a public execution. I slipped away from the crowd, my polished loafers silent on the carpeted edges of the room. The bathroom door swung shut behind me, sealing out the festivities. Leaning over the sink, I stared at my reflection in the gold-framed mirror. Disheveled hair, eyes red-rimmed with unshed tears, the lines of 45 years etched deeper by betrayal. Water splashed cold against my face, but it did nothing to quench the fire inside. Obsession took root then, a dark seed sprouting in the fertile soil of my rage. What if I exposed her? The emails, the off-the-books deals I'd buried for her. But doubt crept in. Would anyone believe me? I was the fired has-been. She was the shining new leader. Back in the ballroom, I hovered on the periphery, nursing a scotch that burned going down. Elena was the center of attention now, laughing with the board members, her hand lightly touching the arm of Victor Hale, the silver-haired chairman who'd always favored her. Was that it? Had she been playing him too? Jealousy twisted with my anger, A toxic cocktail that made my vision blur. I imagined confronting her, watching her facade crack, but fear held me back. What if revenge backfired? I'd lose everything. References, severance, my reputation in this cutthroat industry. As the night wore on, the party thinned. I watched her from afar, her gestures animated. Her voice carrying snippets of vision statements and growth projections. Each word felt like salt in my wounds. Guilt flickered briefly. Had I misread our connection? Was I the fool for blurring lines between professional and personal? But no, she'd initiated it, drawn me in with vulnerability that now seemed calculated. By midnight, the room had emptied to a skeleton crew of stragglers. Elena excused herself, heading toward the elevators with a sway in her step that spoke of too many toasts. I followed at a distance, my heart pounding like a war drum. The lobby was quiet, the fountain's trickle the only sound besides the distant hum of city traffic. She didn't notice me until we were alone in the elevator, the doors sliding shut with a soft ding. "Marcus," she said, surprise flickering across her face before settling into annoyance. "What are you doing here?" "I need answers," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. The enclosed space amplified everything, the floral notes of her perfume, the faint beep of floors passing, the tension crackling like static. She sighed, crossing her arms. "It's done. Move on. You'll get a generous package. Enough to start over." Start over. Laughter bubbled up, bitter and hollow. "After 10 years. After everything I did for you." Her eyes hardened. "You did it for the company. Don't make this personal." "But it was personal," I shot back, stepping closer. The air grew thick, charged with unspoken accusations. "Last night." "A mistake," she interrupted, her tone clipped. "Alcohol and adrenaline. Forget it." Humiliation surged anew, but beneath it, cold resolve began to form, like ice crystallizing in my veins. She thought she could discard me like yesterday's memo. But I knew her secrets. The embezzlement she'd skimmed to fund her lifestyle, the fabricated reports to the investors. I'd covered them, loyal to a fault. Now those skeletons could be my weapons. The elevator doors opened on her floor. She stepped out, pausing to glance back. "Go home, Marcus. Don't do something stupid." Her warning hung in the air as the doors closed, leaving me alone with my reflections, literal and figurative. Stupid. Well, calculated. As I descended, plans swirled in my mind. Anonymous tips to the press, leaks to competitors. But doubt nagged. Would revenge heal the heartbreak or just deepen the void? Moral conflict warred within me. I'd never been vindictive, but betrayal had a way of reshaping a man. Outside, the city night enveloped me. Neon signs flickering, taxis honking, the chill wind carrying the scent of rain-soaked asphalt. I walked aimlessly, each step fueling my obsession. By dawn, resentment had hardened into purpose. She wouldn't see it coming. Quiet, strategic moves, starting with a single email from a burner account. Days blurred into a haze of plotting. My apartment became a war room. Stacks of printed emails on the coffee table, their ink smudged from repeated readings. The glow of my laptop screen illuminating my face in the dim light as I scoured digital trails. The betrayal replayed in loops. Her laugh at the party, the casual cruelty in her dismissal. Anger kept me awake, coffee bitter on my tongue, the hum of the fridge a constant companion in the silence. I started small. An anonymous post on an industry forum, hinting at irregularities at Sterling Corporation. Nothing traceable, but enough to spark whispers. Watching the thread grow, satisfaction flickered, a spark against the darkness of humiliation. But guilt shadowed it. What if innocence got caught in the crossfire? Colleagues I'd mentored, projects I'd poured my soul into. Elena called a week later. Her voice on the voicemail was edged with unease. "Marcus, if this is you, stop. We can talk." I deleted it, heart racing. The power shift thrilled me, but fear lurked. Retaliation could destroy me too. Meetings with old contacts followed, disguised as job hunts. Heard anything about Elena's rise? I'd ask casually over lukewarm beers in dimly lit bars, the clink of glasses masking my intent. Subtle nods shared rumors. They painted her as ambitious, ruthless. One contact, a former board insider, let slip about her affair with Hale. Confirmation twisted the knife deeper. Our night had been just another rung on her ladder. Obsession consumed me. I tailed her once, from afar. Her silhouette against the office windows, working late. Rain pattered on my umbrella, blurring the scene like a noir film. What was she planning now? Doubt crept in during quiet moments. Was I becoming the monster she accused me of being? A month in, the first crack appeared. A news article surfaced, questioning Sterling's finances. Elena's press conference was a masterclass in deflection. Poised smile, measured words, but I saw the strain in her eyes, the slight tremor in her hands gripping the podium. Vengeance tasted sweet, like the whiskey I poured to celebrate alone. Yet heartbreak lingered. Dreams haunted me, her touch, her whispers, waking me in sweats. Resentment warred with longing. Part of me wanted reconciliation, not ruin. Moral grayness enveloped me. Justification felt thin when I pictured her fall. Pushing forward, I escalated. A leaked document to a rival firm, timed for maximum impact. The office buzzed with fallout, emails flying like shrapnel. Elena's call came again, frantic. Meet me. Tonight. The old spot. Tension coiled as I agreed. The park bench overlooked the river, water lapping softly under sodium lights. She arrived wrapped in a trench coat, hair tousled by the wind. You, she accused, eyes searching mine. Denial was easy. Me what? Don't play games, Marcus. Her voice cracked, revealing vulnerability I'd once cherished. This could ruin everything. Like you ruined me. Suppressed rage leaked out, my words low and venomous. She sat, close enough for me to smell her shampoo, citrus and regret. I didn't want to fire you. The board forced it. Your metrics were down. Lies, I spat. But her tears glistened, stirring guilt. Was she manipulating again? We talked for hours, secrets spilling. Her fears of failure, the pressure from Hale. Manipulation or truth? Doubt clouded my resolve. Leaving, she touched my arm. Forgive me. Cold resolve returned as I walked away. Forgiveness. Well, the game was on. The weeks following our park meeting were a masterclass in deception. I played the reformed ally, feeding her false reassurances via encrypted texts. I'm over it. Let's move on. Inside, obsession festered, a dark undercurrent pulling me deeper. My apartment walls closed in, covered in timelines, sticky notes detailing her schedule, connections, weaknesses. The scent of stale takeout lingered, mixing with the ozone hum of my computer as I hacked together a digital trap. Not real hacking, I wasn't that skilled. But old IT favors yielded access to archived servers, where buried files waited like landmines. Elena's vulnerability that night had been a chink in her armor, but it fueled my moral conflict. Was she the villain, or a product of the system's cruelty? Guilt gnawed during lulls, picturing her alone, besieged by scandals I'd ignited. Yet resentment overpowered it. Her betrayal had stripped me bare, left me jobless and adrift in a sea of rejection letters. Suspense built slowly, like a storm gathering on the horizon. I monitored her through mutual contacts, hearing of sleepless nights, emergency board meetings. One evening, over coffee with a former colleague, I learned of her paranoia. Changing locks, hiring security. Satisfaction mingled with fear. If she suspected me, the backlash could be swift. Planning intensified. I crafted a dossier. Forged emails implying her collusion with competitors, timestamps manipulated to perfection. The irony burned, using the skills she'd praised to undo her. Fantasies of justice played out in my mind. Her downfall splashed across headlines, my anonymity preserved. But doubt whispered, what if it backfired? Exposure meant ruin for us both. The turning point came at a gala, 2 months post-firing. The venue was lavish. Velvet drapes framing arched windows, orchestral strings weaving through conversations scented with truffles and aged wine. I attended uninvited, blending into shadows with a borrowed invite. Elena shone in sapphire, but lines etched her face, eyes darting like a hunted animal. Our paths crossed near the bar. "Marcus," she greeted, voice laced with suspicion. "Fancy seeing you here." "Networking," I replied smoothly, clinking my glass to hers. The cool crystal against my fingers grounded me. "Heard things are rocky at Sterling." Her laugh was brittle. "Rumors. Always rumors." But her grip tightened, knuckles whitening. Dialogue danced on knives' edges. Subtle probes veiled threats. "Be careful," she warned softly. "Enemies lurk everywhere. Like friends who betray." I couldn't resist. Her eyes flashed. "You think I enjoyed it?" It was survival. Heartbreak resurfaced, raw and unhealed. Survival. At my expense. Suppressed rage simmered, but I held back, planting seeds. Maybe the leaks will stop if the truth comes out. She paled, excusing herself abruptly. Watching her retreat, cold resolve solidified. Tonight, I'd deploy the dossier. Anonymous dropped to journalists. But fate twisted. Alone in my car post-gala, phone buzzing. An unknown number. "Stop now, or you'll regret it." Hale's voice, gravelly and threatening. Fear spiked, adrenaline flooding my veins. They knew. Paranoia gripped me. Tailed shadows, imagined footsteps. Home felt unsafe, locks checked thrice. Moral conflict peaked that night. Pacing my living room, floorboards creaking underfoot, I weighed scales. Her betrayal versus my vengeance. Guilt surged. Destroying her meant destroying parts of myself, the loyalty I'd prized. Yet obsession won. I sent the files at dawn, fingers hovering before hitting enter. No turning back. The fallout was cinematic. Headlines blaring, Sterling CO embroiled in scandal. Stock plummeting like a stone. Elena's presser was a disaster. Stammered denials, flashbulbs exploding like gunfire, her face ashen under makeup. I watched from a cafe across the street. Steam from my espresso curling like smoke. Triumph warred with remorse. Her fall was poetic, but the human cost, laid-off employees, shattered trust, haunted me. She confronted me that evening, banging on my door amid thunderous rain. Soaked, she burst in. "You bastard! It was you." Denial crumbled. "You fired me. Humiliated me." Tears mixed with rain on her cheeks. "I loved you, Marcus. But ambition. It consumes." Chuck jolted me. Love. Hidden motives unveiled, her firing a shield, protecting me from Hale's purge. He wanted you gone. I made it quick, merciful. Heartbreak twisted anew. Betrayal reframed as sacrifice. Doubt flooded. Had I misread everything? But rage lingered. Merciful. You used me. The argument escalated, voices echoing off walls. She revealed all, Hale's blackmail, her trapped choices. Moral grayness enveloped us. Neither innocent, both flawed. In the chaos, she grabbed a knife from the counter. Self-defense or threat. Struggle ensued, furniture toppling, thunder masking cries. The blade slipped, embedding in her side. Horror froze me as blood bloomed on her shirt, metallic scent filling the air. Panic surged. I called 911, but she whispered, "Finish it, or they'll think murder." Guilt overwhelmed. Had revenge led here? As sirens wailed, I realized the twist. Her love a final manipulation? Or truth? She died en route, news framing it as suicide amid scandals. I walked free but haunted, revenge's price. Eternal isolation, cold resolve shattered by unintended consequences. In the end, betrayal's cycle closed, leaving me broken, questioning if justice ever truly wins.